What's going on, traders? What's going on? Welcome back to another live stream. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Make sure you read what's on the screen. Yeah, getting a little bit of an early jump here. Make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing you see or hear from me here or anywhere else is financial advice or a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. I'm just an idiot yapping about trading on YouTube. Read the full disclaimer, read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop accounts, and read the affiliate partnership disclaimer, which says I stand to make money from the links in my content. Let's jump into the markets and check out what we have on doc for today. What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Lone Wolf, Jess, what's going on, guys? Get rid of this. Nice. So, got both accounts loaded up. Got my Tradeify stuff on this screen right here. I have my Topstep X accounts. Got a 3-pack getting copy traded here. Be checking out MES on the low time frames. But as usual, we'll zoom out, kind of take a look from higher time frames, see what we had going on day over day. Market's looking weak. Market is looking weak, man. Really consolidating, chopping up here near highs. Actually glad I got a little bit extra time this morning. Consolidating, chopping near highs, failing to get above, these highs from early December. Is this early December? Yeah, early December over here. And then again in late January. Yeah, big sell-off on Friday, right? We can see the size of that bearish candle relative to everything else around it. Weak Monday, and then a continuation to the downside below prior day's low already in the overnight session. So, market's really not finding buyers here. I'm interested to see if we do continue to just kind of chop back and forth in this. TradingView came out with a new feature, a new drawing tool, which was pretty cool, which was demonstration, but it's not on Topstep X yet. I'll have to play with that later on. I'm interested to see, from a higher time frame, right? This is the daily, but just to get a little bit of an understanding of where we are, right? Some top-down analysis. How much of this am I going to use on the 1-minute time frame in between, key levels, key VWAPs? It's debatable, but just good to have an understanding. Like if we start to break, are we just going to sweep below? Are we going to continue to run? If we're going to start to chop, what are we looking like? I'm interested to see if we kind of just continue doing this. Similar to what we've been doing over here, just back and forth. Or if we actually start to break down below and continue to the downside, we could be in store for some lower prices. I think if we do continue the downside today, the next discretionary level I have marked off below overnight low and prior day low is going to be this mid 950s, right? Top end of the zone is going to be 56. Bottom end of the zone is going to be 33, just based on the lows of these daily candles of the higher time frame. We get down below that level, I think we can potentially come through this area of low volume very quickly before we get down to some high volume areas all the way down into like the 850s. I'm not expecting any of that to happen today, but just kind of mapping out what I am looking at from a higher time frame view. We start to find some buyers here. We kind of reject. I got some, close zones below yesterday's high. But, if we were going to push back up, obviously highs from daily candles of last week is where I'd be looking, all the way back up to this area. So I don't know, what is going to happen. Nobody ever does. But if and when something starts to happen based on historical price action, I can anticipate how I might want to structure risk and how I might want to get involved in the market. So, we're at the lows of this, at lows of somewhat of this area of consolidation. We definitely can move lower before we start to break out of this area, and then again, way down below this would be the next line in the sand. So interested to see what we get. If I start to zoom in, we'll go to the 1 hour, kind of stay somewhat high time frame. You can see where this zone is coming off of, right? The bottoms that are put in around this area of potential support. Pushing up past that, if we did not continue to sell off. Well, let me drop down to 5 minute. We'll just continue talking about the downside, right? We're sitting right at yesterday's low right now, coming off of daily candle. We've got overnight low right here. Another level that I'd be looking at, right? The 77s, 977s. We start to get down below that. Again, the next level that I would look at for support would be way down here. Way down here. And I think we could get there quickly if we do start to move. Conversely, we start to find some buyers. We start to pop to the upside. I would be looking at overnight high. Yesterday's prior day NYSE session VWAP, right? This is anchored VWAP to NYSE session, 9:30 a.m. Above that, gap from yesterday, right? Some consolidation area of high volume, pretty obvious where this is coming off of. And then above that, again, just level of structure, highs and lows put in, the retest that was early afternoon yesterday. After we sold off really harshly, we pushed all the way back up. I was trying longs yesterday. If you were on the live session, took 2 L's trying longs on the way down here. Finally paid on my Tradeify account on the way back up here. But still ended net red yesterday. And then prior day high would be above that. But looking at where we're at coming into this open, which we're only a minute or two away from, you can see what happened. Just a quick bounce down around the low. And then London session took this thing lower. We broke down below prior day's low. Really chopped lower. Coming into pre-market, late London, we did come back to VWAP, come above VWAP, test this area of high volume. And now we've come back down to test prior day low. So somewhat neutral, right? Opening right up at VWAP. We're not opening up way down here, well below current session VWAP or way above. Relative to yesterday's session, we are at prior day low, right? We are all the way at the lows of the session. So, this is opening up very weak relative to yesterday's profile, right? The daily candle, maybe look at TPO charts, but yesterday's volume profile, we're on the low end of that. So this is looking weak overall. Day over day, it's looking pretty weak. From a higher time frame view, we are at the bottom end of that consolidation, right? We're not just blasting lower, already breaking out. So I am weary, kind of like how I was yesterday, that we could potentially find some buyers, start to just kind of chop around here, and that would look like an uptrend on a low time frame. So we'll take a look. We'll see how we open up. I'm going to be watching this on the 1 minute. Just depending on what sets up and what trades I take, I'm going to bounce over to this Tradeify account. Again, same markup, same chart. This is MES, current contract. Hopefully you don't watch any real-time mistakes, but I'm getting comfortable on trading Tradeovate through down here, Tradeovate through TradingView. So be able to watch that happen as well. Not a fan of doing that, but I'm really not a fan of trading from a Tradeovate chart. But we are opened up. Market is open. Ring the bell, and let's run it. Just setting this anchored VWAP. If you guys want me to go over what's on my chart as far as markup, I'm more than happy to do that. Just let me know. If you have any trading questions, happy to answer. Random dumb questions about drama or anything else, I'm just gonna avoid and block you. I jumped on guys' streams that I talk to and I watch, and jumped on Rip's stream this morning. I'm sure you guys know Rips from Topstep. Like the whole chat is just straight drama, straight up, like no questions about trading. And I commented, and he was laughing about it. I'm like, he's like, you guys have like a beast of a trader. The dude's a veteran trader, right? He streams pre-market if you want to watch that, by the way, for free on YouTube before NYSE Open for the most part. And like nobody's asking trading questions. He's just talking about just whatever the chat's talking about, which I give him credit for doing. But I'm like, I don't know, guys. You're not helping yourselves here. You're sitting on YouTube live trading, and you're asking the guy all these ridiculous, random questions that have nothing. Like most of it was nothing to do with trading, just random drama. But yeah. Anyway. Selling off, starting to sell off. Little pop back up. This could be similar to yesterday, man. I'm tempted to get involved early, but I'm gonna stick to my guns and not do it. It's not my forte trading the first minute of the open, the first couple minutes of the open. 9:32 a.m. Yeah, but this could be a repeat of yesterday where we kind of popped at the open. Let's go back to yesterday. We popped at the open, right? Here's 9:30 a.m. on Monday, yesterday. Quick pop and then aggressive sell-off, right? But again, I don't have good data to support jumping in the first, couple minutes of NYSE session. Too volatile. I think most traders would do much better avoiding the first, few minutes, if not the first 15 minutes or even longer. But, some guys trade volatility very, very well, and, that's their deal. So who am I to say one thing is better than the next? I don't believe it is. What's up, guys? Cheryl, good morning. What's up? No account. Only trade crypto. This is the S&P 500 futures contract. So I'm trading futures. This is the micro S&P. It's MES. The current contract is the H25 contract. My name is Zach. Go by Real Deal Zach on Instagram, Twitter. Real Deal Futures is the brand name, the channel, all that fun stuff. I don't like rips. Oh, that's okay. You don't have to like rips, man. Totally free to have your opinion about anybody else, or me included. So no worries, man. Personally, I think he's a pretty solid trader, pretty solid dude, from what I've seen. But what do I know? I agree. It's drama. There, comments. Yeah, again, man, just. Like, I don't want to turn this into a conversation about it, because I just think it's a waste of time, right? Let's talk about trading. If there's stuff about, the individual trading going on, or, what's happening, or how you're trading, or it's relatively trading related, I think that's cool. But, like, I'm, like, newest on X, on Twitter, and, man, that place is just drama-filled. Like, everybody's like talking about each other's families and calling each other fat and their girlfriends and wives. And I'm like, dude, what is this? Like, what kind of Mean Girls, Real Housewives episode are we on? Like, I don't know. If you want to call someone a bad trader, or talk about like their trading specifically, or, a technical piece of something that they're using, or maybe even the accounts, or, like stuff like that. But it's just wild, man. Anyway, sorry, I don't want to get sidetracked, but I jumped on there for a little bit. Again, I kind of just cruise all the live streams, right? It's the space that I'm in, different people that I talk to, and I was like, geez, man, like, someone want to ask about, like, the risk management he plans to use when he takes a trade, or, what he thinks about, the news of the day, or anything like that, or just gonna talk drama. But anyway, watching this market. So yeah, let me not fall into that. Watching this market, above VWAP now, coming up to test the high end of this consolidation. Somewhat choppy right off the bat. Quick wick lower, quick push higher, quick wick lower, quick crack back up, and now just kind of coming back down towards VWAP. You can see VWAP is very flat here, even on the 1 minute chart. We are sitting right at it. This is somewhat neutral. I'm going to likely wait for the 15-minute opening range, like I have been doing. Again, I have my chart, a little bit more marked up here on the 1 minute, just because it's so zoomed in. It's not that the additional tools do anything special, just gives me a little bit more reference because I'm so dang zoomed in. So I'm gonna go ahead and watch this thing. If we start to push to the upside, interested to see if we do get above overnight high and NYSE session VWAP and start to hold. We could be in for somewhat of a recovery down here, maybe a choppy Tuesday. Again, conversely, if we start to come lower, which is I think what everybody has their eyes on, are we going to keep this selling off movement happening from a higher time frame view and on lower time frames? I'm really interested to see what happens. But 9:36 and 30 seconds here for New York time. Be waiting for this 15-minute opening range to set and see if we can't make it happen on ES, man. Tough start to a Monday with 2 L's yesterday. Comeback in the Tradeify account, but again, not enough to make it a green Monday. Still net red, right? Copy trading on the Topstep accounts, but that trade idea finally paid, finally. But that's part of it, man. That's part of it. It's part of live streaming. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing here, right? I don't have to answer too many questions because you guys are able to see it here. They all stay up. You can hop on yesterday's live and watch me lose $1,200. You know, that's the benefit of live trading consistently for free. Build that public track record, which is the best and only way really that I see that you can do it. It's tough to do, super time consuming, can be very distracting and add a different layer of pressure, right? I want to hop on here and take wins with you guys. I want to, you know, show every person that hops on here for the first time that I in fact know what I'm doing, but that has nothing to do with good trading, and it's impossible to demonstrate. Otherwise, I'd have to have a 100% win rate. Back down to VWAP, just kind of sitting here. Yeah, probably going to be waiting for 15 minutes to open up. Nothing crazy on Bookmap. Nothing wild that I'm looking at on Bookmap. Bookmap is my favorite order flow tool. Looking at ES, pretty thick above and below, but nothing standing out like crazy. Again, I'm really trying to stay focused here on ES, so I'm ready to trade and not pay too much attention to NASDAQ and YM. But I did notice today on Bookmap, YM has a ton of orders stacked below. A ton of orders stacked above and almost nothing below. So I could show you what I'm talking about here instead of just talking about it. Let's make sure you can see this. This is Bookmap, right? This is just used to view level 2 data. It's a order flow software. That's exactly what we're looking at here. Current price levels. Quantity of orders on the book, above and below price, on the sell side and buy side. This is for ES. It's the ES chart. Again, I don't have a massive like stack of orders like I'm going to show you on ES standing out at any point. Just pretty thick. We do have some up here, as you can see, but nothing really jumping out. It's just relatively thick overall, along with this algorithmic stuff that tracks above and below price. Over here, what I'm mentioning on YM, we do have some big stacks of orders, right? You can see these big peaks sitting out above sell side, and we don't have big orders down below. So this would be interesting if we start to crack to the upside on these US indices. Again, Dow moves in its own world, so it could totally be doing its own thing. We can start to come through and fill this liquidity pretty quickly. These orders may want to get filled. So, but watching ES, like there we go. Got a big stack now at 615 as we start to push up above this algorithmic liquidity. Again, these big peaks right around price that stay like this kind of equal distance, I don't pay too much attention to. This stuff flashing you can see is real. This as well. Now, for now, we can assume that it's real. We never really know what's going on here. We just use it to the best of our abilities. But I use Bookmap in a very dumb, simple, amateur style way where I say, oh, hey, look, 300 orders on the book at 615. We start to get close to that. I think we're likely to see some volatility at 615 because I would expect those to fill if they stay on the book. I want to be aware of that, right? Another level of interest. But this is choppy. This is extremely choppy. Straight back and forth price action. Not something that I want to jump right into. So I'm going to hang out and yap with you guys here. Taking a look at news on the day, we do have 10 a.m. CB Consumer Confidence. The Conference Board Consumer Confidence. Wow, let me not stutter on that one. This is Forex Factory. This is the news site that I use to look at financial news. I don't really pay attention to too much fundamentals. I don't find it helpful for me personally. Maybe I'm just an idiot and I'm not able to interpret it fast enough or use it to my advantage, but I'm not good at doing it. What I do pay attention to is financial news events. I want to know, hey, do we have anything on the board on a financial news site like forexfactory.com? You could check MarketWatch, you could check Financial Juice. And then really outside of that, just general headline events, anything crazy going on in the political sphere or, geopolitics, or maybe earnings. Like tomorrow we have NVIDIA earnings. I'm trading US indices. That's something to pay attention to. But we do have 10 a.m. 2 orange folder news events that would be, medium impact. Nothing crazy, but something to be aware of. Could see some volatility at that time. Coming up on 9:45 a.m. here. Not just yet, but we'll get ready to do our 15-minute opening range high and low. But this is choppy, guys. This is pretty indecisive, right? We're sitting right at VWAP. I mean, I'm staring at the 1-minute chart here, so this is pretty indecisive. Opening chop right around VWAP. We are sitting above it, or we were at least, until we're coming down lower. Right at prior day low. I'm interested to see, do we start to break down below this prior day low level? Head towards overnight low. We get down below that. You know, that's our next line in the sand. 15-minute opening range sets. I'm going to be looking at this pretty neutral and be looking to play it either way that we start to break. We start to come lower. I am going to look short on this, stop above, you know, whatever range that we set, targeting overnight low. I think that can be an easy move that we come down here to retest, you know, this zone. Maybe we don't get all the way down there, but maybe this area of consolidation that we put in through London, through pre-market, the overnight session. Conversely, we start to break to the upside. We do have some levels up here, so I'm a little bit cautious getting long right towards that. Those could present some potential resistance. But I'm gonna be waiting for this to set. I'm not gonna jump right in. Short could be setting up right here right now, but I'm gonna wait for this 15-minute to set. It's too choppy, right? I mean, at this point, you'd be buying up here 3 times and failing, and then selling down here 3 times, right? We got just a choppy range set so far. I don't like to be buying the breakout both ways. I'd like to maybe sell the retest or buy the retest. That's kind of the move. You risk missing it, right? But wait and see. Yeah, no problem. How long do you wait until market open? Depends. I don't wait a specific amount of time. For ES, I do like the 15-minute opening range, but I will get involved quickly if something really presents itself, especially just depends on how pre-market is structured, you know, what it looks like overnight. But traditionally, I'm not in before the first 15 minutes of the opening range. I'd say on average, it's likely after that. Looking for longs. My gut tells me we're in bearish zone and time. Yeah. Yeah, again, I was trying it long all day yesterday. All I had to do was hit the sell button, and that would have played pretty nicely. So coming up on 9:45, this thing might break down. Again, I'm not going to try it right from this zone. You know, this is what this would look like. Short setup. Yeah, just not a good risk to reward, right? Like, I don't want to put a stop loss right here. That just doesn't present good risk structure to me. I think VWAP is very likely to be, you know, checked out maybe before we sell off. You'd have to at least go above 15-minute opening range, and that's not a good risk structure, right? I don't always have my trades, you know, turn out to be positive as far as risk reward goes, but initially I don't like to set stuff up where I say, well, I have to take on 18 points of risk, and, you know, I'm going to be only maybe if it works out grabbing, you know, 10, 12 points of profit. So it's not a setup for me. So cracked 15-minute opening range low. If anything, it's a buy play, right back up to VWAP, right back up to overnight high. Really, really aggressive, you know, short time frame, something I talked about yesterday. Want to get better at just focusing on what's right here in front of me rather than these higher time frame zones and levels. But this is choppy. Super choppy. Such choppiness, yeah. Miss when you traded NQ. Where do you think it's headed today? Yeah, we can take a look at NQ. Yeah, really similar structure, right? Really, really similar structure out of NQ. Very, very similar. Looks weak. Looks weak as well, right? If I'm on the 15-minute zoomed out, we can see this just clean downtrend, right? If I look at like one time frame, similar deal. We opened up to the downside, cracked below prior day low for London, pulled back up, tested this area of consolidation, and we've since rejected all the way down to these lows. I mean, this looks weak as all hell. You know, I think the sell looks like the play today across U.S. indices. Dow living in its own world a little bit. Living in its own world, as usual. looks weak, guys. This looks weak. These new blue light blocking sunglasses, and they're like really aggressively light blocking. So I don't know if I like them. To make sure that VWAP was in the right spot, it was not. I'm looking at this short. Look at this short towards overnight low. Unless this chop is going to continue, I'm going to look for a short play on a retest here. I'm getting short on this, guys. I'm going to go short for MES here. Stop loss just above this wick. Really just taking a breakout to the downside. We cracked 15-minute opening range low. Cracked below this low right here that we put in pre-market. We're selling off aggressively. We keep pulling back. That was a nice pullback to 15-minute opening range low and rejection. We could need to just come trade back across this range and have it be a choppy morning so far. But we're breaking out to the downside. We chopped around, started to push lower. We're holding below VWAP, breaking and retesting, breaking and retesting. Simple short play down towards overnight low. That's what I'm looking at here. That's going to be trade number 1. We'll see what we get. Could play it, much tighter with a stop loss right here. That's not a bad play. But I'm going to run it with, how many points of risk is this? I'm going to run it with about, 9 3/4, 10 points of risk. Back up to VWAP. If we have to come all the way back up there, I think we're slicing through, chopping around at very least. But I want to see this thing run towards overnight low. The 82s, this area that we tested a couple times, this low here is a little bit concerning. But we'll see how this one starts to play. Sellers trying to take it lower. But that's going to be trade number 1. Very simple, right? What I want to get better at, just low time frame trend. What are we doing right here, right now? I'm not trying to capture the whole move. I'll manage it as I see fit. If it's going to be a choppy day, we're going to break back and forth, or we're going to pull these big back and forth moves. I'm going to get stopped out. That's cool. But I'm going to trade in the direction of this move to the downside right here, right now. Buyers are not stepping in. We got volume here. Sellers are continuing to push it lower. We are below 15-minute opening range low without wicking right back up. We already did that here. Gives me a way to structure risk. Nice. I'm going to go... Yeah, I'm just looking at profit. I'm not a big set of TP guy. But I'm definitely going to go stop loss to break even at this point, guys. These 82s, again, could be an issue. But I'm looking at taking this to overnight low. If I have to get stopped out here, it is what it is. I'd like to grab this around overnight low. A lot of momentum. We could have to wick right back up and retest this, but I'm going to look for some continuation and risk the stop out and get ready to join bid right around that overnight low level. Let's see it. There we go. Out at overnight low. It's nice when it plays out really quick. Now this may rip and run. I'm not going partials on this one. I'm taking my quick $200 across 3 accounts. I think we are likely to find some support here. We may, but this is a big sell-off right through overnight low, right? If you're in this trade, you say, why are you taking profit? Totally respect that. I'm zoomed in on the 1-minute chart. I'm not looking to capture the whole move, but there's certainly a case that would be to not close this out at all. This is weak. We are weak on higher time frames. We are weak, day over day, and we are breaking below overnight low right here after really not finding any buyers. So this thing can absolutely run. It's important for me to jump right into this to talk about. I'm okay watching this thing absolutely sell off from here. That's not what I'm shooting for, right? I'm not structuring my trades with a really wide stop loss saying I'm not going to take profit until we come down, 30, 40 points to the downside on ES. I'm going to take it at the next level that I think we may find support at, where I may, expect to bounce. But we're right through overnight low. This thing looks weak. If you were taking a similar trade, another option would be partials, right? Take 2 off. I had 4 contracts on. Take 2 off, stop loss to break even. Let that second half run. Worst case, you get stopped at break even. You grabbed $100 in profit. Maybe you're able to capitalize on a larger move to the downside. There's nothing wrong with that. But I like to talk about trade management because it's really important. What you do after you put the trade on, equal to, if not more important than what happens, before you put the trade on. So this is looking weak though. Pushed to the downside, but nice play. Glad that one worked out really cleanly. We could talk about that, very, very simply. We chopped around at the open. We got down below VWAP, below NYSE session VWAP. We cracked 15-minute opening range low. Now, I don't just sell the breakout of orb, but what I did see on here was a crack below right here, right on that 945. Ooh. I actually have my 15-minute opening range low in the wrong spot. But I'm going to leave it there because I want to journal it that way. That's not good. That's the 9:44 a.m. candle. That's my 9:45. Well, let's talk about what I thought happened. This is kind of nuanced. It's on a 1-minute chart, and we're talking about what, like a point and 2 points of difference, 2.25 points of difference. This, to me, based on where I had my 15-minute opening range low marked, was a quick crack below, but at least a crack below this level right here, put in right before 9:30. Pull back up towards VWAP, not a blast through, not a continuation of the upside. Break below. Looking like we wanted to pull back up, but failing again. And my entry was on momentum right here, really looking for a breakout. Stop loss above a level of structure, back up at VWAP where I say, hey, if we get down here, we crack 15-minute opening range low, and then we just reject, I don't think we're going to continue the way we just did. I think we're likely to come back up here, chop around. It's going to be frustrating. We're going to do some BS like this. Or maybe I'm just dead wrong, and, this is going to be a pullback. And then we're going to rip to the upside, and it's going to be a recovery today. So that was the entry. Stop loss above this level. That's my level of invalidation. Overnight low. Simple level that I look for, right? I think we maybe, like we are right now, find some buyers around this level. Does it have to happen right here, right now? No, but I think maybe a sweep below and then some buyers found could be in store before we continue lower. I still think this is likely to continue lower on the day, right? For obvious reasons. This is looking weak. We're looking weak in overnight, weak yesterday, weak in the overnight session, getting down below prior day low, opening up right at VWAP, selling off at the open after just a quick pop to the upside, really not testing any level above, and now breaking that overnight low, putting the low of the session in. So this looks weak, but this is what I was concerned about. So let's see how this trade management plays out, right? But along with all that, the style of my trade that I'm looking for on ES is a little bit more take profit quickly, a little bit different than what I was doing on NQ. What you'll see me do where I place a real wide stop loss and I want to let the thing run all day. I'm going to look for profit at a level that makes sense. Try to structure it with a positive risk to reward like that one was, ever so slightly, somewhat close to that 1-to-1, but looking to take profit at a level where we may see a bounce, like right here, right now. So this is coming up on what would have been stopped for break even had I not taken profit, until this next level down here, right? If I was going to hold on to it, this is what I'm looking at. But yeah, that one paid quickly. Beautiful when I get to hop on and it works really nicely, right? No magic. You watched me take L's yesterday. We got a win today. You just let it play out in your favor, man. Unfortunately, those ones yesterday were full. Oh, the first one wasn't technically a full stop out. Second one was, you know, for $200 of risk. So this is not a massive winner compared to those. But, you know, it's different, right? Somewhat dynamic with risk to reward. Maybe that overnight low is, you know, a little bit farther down here tomorrow, and it's $300 worth of profit. That's kind of the thought process, but maybe a little bit positive on win rate, a little bit positive on risk to reward. But I'm pretty modest with those numbers, and I think most guys are. Are you shorting? Nice job. Yeah. Here you go. Out $400 for the day. Let's go, Zach. I was short NQ. Follow my rules. Hell yeah, man. 6-day win streak. Ryan. Love it, man. Love to hear it. On the heater. Ryan, you're here every day, bro. I love to see it, man. And I'm going to see you in Tampa. You're coming, bro. That's it. One trade a day. Awesome. So you wait until price goes outside orb, or is it okay to trade inside orb? I hope I'm making sense. Yeah. So let me clarify a little bit this while we watch. I'm looking for a second entry. My thought process would be on this type of pullback up, some kind of a test of a VWAP, overnight low. Prior day low, excuse me, overnight lows down here. Prior day low, 15-minute opening range low, or VWAP. I'd be looking for some kind of test up here and then continuation for a second trade to the downside. But this looks weak. This looks like we want to break and run. There's a short play right here, right now, if you know, if you want to get aggressive about it. But I'm not taking it. We failed to continue below overnight low very quickly. I think we're likely to come back up here, and I'd like to see something like this to look for a second trade today. And my entry wouldn't be all the way up here. It'd be somewhere on the way back down. You know, maybe breaking below whatever low we're about to put in. Stop loss above a level of structure. You know, looking for a continuation to the next level. Very similar to what you just saw. But to answer your question, Cheryl O. I'm discretionary, right? Discretionary with price action, market structure, volume, and a little bit of order flow. The way that I structure my trades on ES here on the 1-minute chart, you're going to find some consistency. I like to trade with the higher time frame direction if possible, right? So we are trending down on the higher time frames. That's step one. So inherently, I'm looking for shorts, somewhat of a short bias right off the rip. Ooh, this looks like it wants to go. Yeah, I'm not going to take this second one, but this looks like a short play to the downside. Just too choppy right around this level. But we are coming back through it. We didn't retest prior lows broken the downtrend. We didn't retest anything that I have on my chart. So it's just a little bit low to jump in on. But this looks like we want to head lower, man. So, you know, again, here's the paper trade setup. You know, if you just wanted a 1-to-1, there it is right there. You know, you wanted something to the downside. I think this is the play right here, right? I don't have the confidence in this one. Again, didn't get a retest of my levels. Yeah, but this thing's going. We'll see how that plays out. So, again, I really do like 15-minute opening range low and high. I like to pay attention to where we're at relative to standard VWAP, NYSE session VWAP, and prior days NYSE session VWAP. If we start to break out to the downside aggressively, I'm going to look for either a reversal or a break and retest. Same thing to the upside. A test of a VWAP, a test of a level, and a continuation with the trend, hoping to be in line with the higher time frame trend. That's the basics of this approach, this strategy, if you want to call it. But again, I am using discretion and intuition, feel for the market, right? Which is going to help me some days and hurt me some days. But it's important to note that. And I think everybody that trades manually, whether you believe it or not, even if you have a very, very rules-based system, you're going to use some discretion. You're going to use some intuition. And that's okay. Write it into your strategy. Write it into your approach. Have rules for when and where you're going to apply it. And journal, create a feedback loop, and decide if it's helping you or hurting you. If it's helping you, do more of it. If it's hurting you, do less of it. But that's the basics here. Price action, market structure, very, very simple setups. Very, very simple setups. Looking to capture a little bit positive win rate, a little bit positive risk to reward. if possible, right? Those can swing one way or the other. We could be a little bit more positive on risk to reward with a lower win rate that's below 50 or in the 40s or 30s. You want to have a really high win rate. Let's get more conservative, more modest on that risk to reward. But I think that's where a lot of guys struggle, guys and girls. A lot of traders struggle. Yeah, this is just clean to the downside. Clean to the downside. Again, not a missed trade for me. Nice break and retest of prior lows on the 1 minute. ES has been clean, man. Really clean. There it is. Yeah, not a missed trade, not a missed opportunity. On another day, maybe I am taking this aggressively, just breaking down here. Again, just because we are following that higher time frame structure so nicely, but we just didn't get a test. I'll tell you, on another Tuesday here in February, we pull back up, hit 15-minute opening range low, NYSE session VWAP, prior day low, or VWAP, and then we start to come down. I'm 110% short. 110% short. We just didn't pull up enough right here, so they pull back down to this level to find a little bit of buyers. I think on another day this bounces one more time and then sells off, but not today. Not today. I don't have to have a level, but I like to see at least prior lows, tested, like really low time frame lows tested, or key VWAP, key level, something that I call a key VWAP and level, right? It's all subjective, what I think is important. But yeah, weak to the downside. I'm going to hang out, look for a second trade, right? If I'm going to take a second trade after I take a loss, I better damn well be ready to take a second trade when I take a win. That's important. So, but this looks like it's just going to run without me. That was my first trade. Happy with that. That was pretty damn close to a stop at break even, or maybe it was. I'm not exactly sure where I got short on this bad boy. But we are still moving to the downside. Second opportunity was here. If I'm not going to take it on a pullback, right? Because we didn't hit anything. But as we came down, found some support and then broke lower. Got wiggly there, a little bit of a read of momentum. This did look like a break to the downside, but we'll see. We'll see if this even continues, right? Because I'd be really looking at profit down here, right? Somewhere down in this level, which is a simple discretionary level coming off higher time frames, right? The most obvious place, looking left, right? This is what I mean by left. Looking back on your chart, what's the next low that hasn't been ran through with price? Down here. Why am I going wide with this bad boy? Well, tested it multiple times over here as support. This is pretty choppy when we look back here, but it was tested. We got some tops and bottoms in here, and we got another bottom right down here in the middle of it. So nice wide discretionary level that we may head towards. Yep, selling off. This is clean, right? Nice break and retest. Here's a beautiful example of break and retest, just simple market structure. Cracking down below this low, pulling back to test prior low broken in a downtrend, and then continuing lower. Very clean. Very clean. Yeah, ES has been nice. I've really enjoyed coming back to ES. It trends very tightly. It doesn't give you so many opportunities if you wait. Sometimes it just starts to go and it really doesn't pull back. But it follows price action. It follows like traditional market structure very, very cleanly. In my opinion, on many days. There's certainly days where it wicks all over the place like NQ or anything else, and it's just frustrating. But in general, you get some nice price action structure like this. Awesome. So we got a winner. FOMO is my weakness. Yeah. Set some rules for yourself. Set some rules and say, and have some serious entry criteria. Challenge yourself to define what you are waiting for, what you are looking for. What is your setup, right? And if you have some clear rules, it makes it easy to say, I'm having FOMO, I'm jumping in. This is not my setup. I don't have anything here that's actually a trade for me. As you get more experience, you're able to apply a little bit more discretion, a little bit more intuition. But even that, you have to apply within reason. You have to have, some consistency. So you're not just jumping all over the place. But appreciate you guys hopping on. Again, if you are not in the free Discord, I'm going to plug that right now. 100% free futures trading community. You can ask me questions right after I hop off this live. Also, this was on a Topstep account, but if you want to check out Tradeify, which I have loaded up right here, excuse me, you can check out Tradeify straight to funded accounts. 30% off, no evaluation, no challenge. You go directly into a funded account. Pretty sweet. The 50K account, I think it comes to like $357 through the end of this week, is 30% off. There are different rules, different requirements to get to a payout with the straight to funded stuff. But if you don't want to waste days trading sim in an eval, and you can work within a consistency rule, you have an edge in the market, you're comfortable paying a little bit more, I think it's pretty sweet, man. I'm in profit on that one. Looking pretty good. Working towards a payout with Tradeify. We'll see how the rest of the week and rest of the month goes. Yeah, this thing is looking weak. Weak. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I'm actually, I'm sorry, guys. I'm actually giving away 2 Tradeify accounts. I'm just doing it on Twitter. Let me post a link for that. If you guys want a chance to win a couple Tradeify accounts, you can go ahead and I'm announcing it on Friday. You can go ahead and go to my Twitter. This is pinned to... Let me get it up. This is pinned to my... Boom. One more in there for you. Instructions on there. 2 Tradeify accounts up for grabs. 250Ks. They're not straight to funded, but if you guys want a shot at winning, you want to enter something for free, you don't have to buy anything or give me an email or anything. You could do that. Pulling back up here. But yeah, man, other than that, live here every day for free, showing you how and what I do. Hop in the free Discord. And yeah. Got more questions? Hit me up. You want to work with me one-on-one? I do that as well. But I really don't plug it. I wait for people to hit me up. Every once in a while I throw something that I got going on social media. Sorry for drifting off. I'm watching this thing sell, man. This looks like the run lower, and we are just failing to find buyers anywhere here. Every pullback is just continuing lower. I think we could see another leg down pretty quickly here. I don't have a clean way to structure risk, but this wasn't a bad entry, right? Like we said, if we wanted to get aggressively short, after the bounce here, failing to find buyers, continuing lower, that wouldn't have been so bad so far. Could have snagged another 1-to-1 real quick there. I wouldn't have been waiting for a breakout right here. I would have been preempting that breakout to the downside. But again, no test of levels, right? Really nothing up here being hit. Not a prior low broken, but not a bad play. But let's see what we get. I don't know that I want to be a buyer down here at all. Don't know that I want to be a buyer today. That's looking weak. That's looking pretty weak. Even from up here, starting to look weak. Let's take a look at the other U.S. indices. Yeah, NQ following suit, right? Breaking out to the downside. Very, very, very similar structure out of these. Almost identical today. Let's look at the black sheep YM. Oh, not the Australian dollar. Yep. Different structure out of YM. Cracked to the upside, but now through VWAP and headed down to test lows. Keep it on ES. Scroll back out. Reset the VWAP lines. Reset everything. Volume. Let's see what we get from down here. Yeah, the other thing that I might have thrown on here if I was quick enough. Low of day anchored VWAP. Could have taken it. Could have even taken it from here. If not, definitely from down here. Yeah, I'll have to watch that one. Journal that. When price hovers near pre-market high in the London session, and when market opens, there's at least 100, 200 points from there. May wick above the pre-market high. Yeah, it's a pattern that you recognize often. That's cool. You know, if there's something that you see that plays out slightly more often than not and gives you a way to structure risk, that's awesome, man. All about finding something that that works well for you in the way that you understand the market. So sure, absolutely. Thinking about starting a Tradeify account. Start out with 50K. Yeah. Again, the straight to funded stuff is pretty sweet. No eval. Again, different rules, right? Read through everything. Yeah, here we go. Just break out to the downside, man. Yeah, this would have been a pretty nice one. Here. I'm going to have to journal these and just kind of review. How many times do we not pull back far enough to test a level, but give me a way to structure risk and just continue lower? And today is an example of that. Hit the sell button, throw a stop loss somewhere in there, and you're going to be pretty dang good. Still selling, man. See what we get from down here. Again, I'm still looking short. We are coming into a level that I would be cautious of shorting at. You know, within this zone, I'm cautious, but man, if we start like to aggressively sell off, we got a chance to make this a really, really red day. Gonna have to see. But yeah, Tradeify, it's pretty sweet. Let me see if I can pull up that while we're just hanging out, watch the market without going to like my dashboard or anything. Yeah, again, link is in the chat for the 50K, excuse me, for the 30% off these accounts. This is Tradeify. You want to use my link, great. If not, that's fine. But here's the stuff that I look at. This is the one that I'm trading right now. 30% off makes it like $357. It's straight to funded, so there's no eval. But there's a couple different rules in here that you want to pay attention to, and it's definitely always important to go through, you know, the frequently asked questions, the help center for any prop firm that you're going to trade with, for anything that you're going to do, broker, you know, whatever it is. You got to do your own research, so make sure you do that. But some of the key differences here from something like Topstep, which, you know, I'm trading live right here, right now, and a lot of guys trade, would be you do have a daily loss limit where it doesn't take you out. It doesn't kill the account, but it does take you out of the trade. But same $2,000 trailing end of day drawdown. So it's not like the crazy Apex intraday or some of the other stuff you see. The main difference here, this is the key, 20% consistency rule, 10 days to payout, and there's another one that's not on here, but I think should be. It's the minimum amount to payout and a payout cap. But this essentially means you cannot have any one day be larger than 20% of all of your profit. So if you trade for 5 days, for example, you can't have one massive, you know, day and then 4 small days. You do have to have some consistency within your profit. which can be tough. Some guys, that's going to be an absolute deal breaker. They say, nope, I run my winners. I'm a home run hitter. You know, I'm going to have lots of small losses and then a banger, and this is just not going to work for me. Totally get that. Along with that, you do have 10 minimum days to pay out. So you do have to trade 10 days, unlike in a Topstep account, for example. Technically, 7 days at the least you could get to a payout, right? Because you need 2 days in the eval, and then you need 5 $200 winning days. So a little bit of a trade-off there. And then along with that, you do have to make $3,000 before you can request a payout. Now, if you're trading the account and you have some that you're shooting towards for 10 days of trading, it does make sense that you would, attempt to make some profit. But you don't have that in other accounts. You don't have that with other firms. You can take a really small payout from a small amount of profit. And I've done that before with Topstep. So different things to consider, but you can check all this stuff out. You can check out pricing. They do have regular traditional accounts as well. Again, straight to funded, no eval, but help center and this type of stuff is going to give you, even more information like payouts and withdrawals. You want to read through all this stuff. So again, link is in the chat. If you want to check that out, I'm going to slap it in there again since I'm talking about it. I know it gets buried and I can only see some of the last few messages. 30% off. The code is on their site, main code. So, Tradeify. Weak, man. Weak market. Yep. Second sell would have been pretty sweet. Again, I still would be grabbing profit somewhere down here, probably at that 1-to-1. These are not the trades that I am going to just hold on to the ground, but man, this is weak. I don't know that I'm going to get a second one at this point from down here because I really don't want to sell at this support zone. But this looks like the bottom may just fall out today, man, and we may be in for some gnarly downtrend movement. I'm going to wait to see what happens down here. We pull back towards overnight low. We get something where we retest a level, just kind of come back up in here, and then start to sell back off. I'm going to look short again. That's my game plan. Even if I don't get it on here with the live, I'm looking short, guys. That's the obvious point. We are coming to the bottom of this zone. Through the 950s now. It's looking dangerous. It's looking dangerous here. Again, next line in the sand going to be right off these lows, the 35s. But we are quickly approaching that, not finding any buyers stepping in. We did not start to reject from this at all. We're going to get the initial balance, the 1 hour opening range set pretty soon here. But I'm going to look short on this again if I could find a way in. This was opportunity, but that's aggressive to the downside, man. Wow. We may run. We may really start to run. That's cool. We'll watch it live here. That'd be fun.
When you're in the
Do we find buyers anywhere down here, man? Anywhere down around that low? I'm not sure. Not sure that we do. Not sure that we do. Got some volume on that move to the downside right there. A lot of volume. Taking a look at Bookmap. Nothing crazy on Bookmap. We do have some liquidity below at 930. And then just the round numbers heading lower. Pretty obvious spots. This looks like we're going to fall out, man. This looks like we're going to keep going lower. I'm looking short. Gonna try to find a way in short. That's my game plan. I need a pullback though. I can't just sell it down here. Can, but it's just not in my plan. Some consolidation, something outside of just straight knife down that would give me a way to structure risk is what I'm looking for. Maybe back up here, just 5-minute bars trading above prior bar high. But really, really what I would like to see would be an overnight low retest, something like that. Sorry, I'm just resetting my my chart here. Try to stop making you guys dizzy. Can we reset? Okay. Yeah, I can't take it short without a retest up to the, let's say the 65s, 66s, you know, somewhere up here. But green so far in the morning. Again, we may get more opportunity into the afternoon, right? Try not to get FOMO if you're watching this thing happen. What happens to a lot of traders is the market starts moving and they don't have a setup. Maybe they trade reversals, maybe they trade ranges, but we got so much movement or we got some volatility and all of a sudden they're jumping in left and right, taking trades, and they start getting stopped out, right? You start just selling off the bottom and getting stopped out on every small pullback, like right here. You know, 10-point pullback is going to kill you. You start selling off the bottom and taking random stop outs. It moves against you. You close out. Stay patient. You know, stay patient. Wait for whatever you trade, right? Whatever that setup is. For me, if I'm going to trade really aggressive downtrend structure, looking for sells, I'm waiting for some simple break and retest. Retests of area of high volume, of levels of key VWAPs. Not just a 2-minute pullback and then continuation. This is the 1 minute, so we are getting some structure, but this is not a very clean way to give me an invalidation point. But we're gonna hang out with it. Hang out with you guys for a little longer here. Took the first win. Nice to jump on and snag one. Oh, man. Like, you know, again, you could just be taking breakouts. Like, you could take 1-minute breakouts. Here's your trade right here if you want it. Stop loss above the high. Anticipation that this is going to crack to the downside. You know, look to snag maybe a 1-to-1. Maybe you get it like right here, right now. You look to snag a 1-to-1 and you go stop loss to break even well before that. And, you know, if you get stopped to break even, you get stopped to break even. You know, here's how that would have worked right here. Very, very simple, right? Maybe you say it would have worked again right here, right? Because we got an area of consolidation, pullback, continuation lower. Maybe you catch it as it's breaking to the downside. There's your 1-to-1 right there. And you're just playing with trend. Higher time frame, lower time frame trend. Find a way to structure risk. Anticipating a breakout to the downside right away. You know, and here it is from down here, right? Like breaking below the low. Stop loss above there, and you can just keep playing it until it doesn't work. Your other option could be, hey, Zach, I don't want to do that. Jump in and out 57,000 times. When we start to really show weakness down below a level, I'm going to run a wide stop loss and, you know, a wide profit target, and I'm just going to capture that larger move on the day. Nothing wrong with that either. But this would be simple, break and retest, trading with the trend, utilizing horizontal levels, like the most basic stuff. And it's dangerous. In my opinion, it's really all you need. You need to find a way to structure risk, find a way to keep things simple, and build confidence in whatever it is you're going to do. I'm going to have to journal some of these, man, because it's been happening a lot where we just start to really tightly trend to the downside. And what's happening right now where I'm waiting for a retest of a key level or, you know, maybe just lows, prior lows broken in a downtrend. We don't get that. We just arbitrarily consolidate, pull back a little bit, don't really hit anything, and then start to break out. But when we break out, we continue. And that does present an okay, you know, risk structure. So I'm always looking to improve. And if my data says, hey, man, you got a ton of these you know, small trades to the downside that you can capitalize on, you're just, you know, you're not being aggressive enough. I'll forward test it, back test it, try to build confidence. This one right here, like this could be a whole nother type of trade as well. Again, we are looking weak out of this area. We start breaking below this low, breaking below this level. This could be a really nice leg down. Now, I'm expecting some buyers to step in here and kind of crack us back higher. Maybe a wick below pretty aggressively and then a pull back up. But this could be a larger move to the downside. So. Interested to see what happens right around these lows. If we come through the 35s. Weak, man. Weak market. Let's see what we got. February consumer confidence comes in lighter than expected in latest sign of slowing economy. That's not good. Bitcoin drops to a 3-month low below 90,000. Risk off move. Interesting. Interesting. S&P falls for a 4th day after weak consumer confidence. Nvidia leading NASDAQ lower. Is it? Is it now? Yeah. Ooh, Tesla falling off a cliff also. Tesla would be leading NASDAQ. Here we go. Continuing to put session lows in here on ES. Looking very weak. Again, I just mapped out this same trade over and over and over again. Simple break and retest. You know, here would be your third option, right? We looked at it right here at a consolidation, breaking out to the downside, stop loss above whatever we have as a pullback, whatever highs. We looked at it up here as well. And again, just mapping out like 1-to-1, both of these would have, you know, you could have captured more than 1-to-1. Not really getting retests of any levels of structure or key levels that I see. Just kind of small consolidations, small pullbacks, and then continuations. Maybe you're really aggressive and you take it right there as well. But let's see what happens down here. Just keep trying it till it doesn't work. Lone Wolf, check the rules. It's like passing the eval. Yeah. You know, I was vocal about that, right? I talked about that a little bit. The straight to funded. There's a little bit of marketing there. You have different rules. It's not like you get into an XFA on day one, right? You have more constraints on what you can and can't do. And there's other little things in there, right? There's other little rules in there. But they're clear as far as I'm aware. And again, I think if you're looking to expand, maybe you're someone like me that has 5 XFAs and multiple passed on backup. You're looking for additional accounts to trade. You know, find another firm to start to expand. Do we just fall out of bed here, man? Okay, so cracking these lows, trading out 35s. I'm really interested to see. I think we can absolutely knife lower, and this may turn into a very, very bloody day. If we're gonna find buyers, somewhere down here would be a spot to do it. Why, you might ask? Just the next line in the sand, looking right here. Before we get like way lower, like all the way down here. But again, this may turn into a very bloody day. We start to knife lower. You just using like visible range, temporary volume profile. Down here around these lows, the next area of high volume. But we are approaching the bottom of this down here. So this is interesting. Really interesting. Orders on the book down below. Not a ton, but enough to keep the party going. So I'm still looking short on this. Again, I had my opportunity to get short very aggressively with very tight risk structure 5 times already, but we are just grinding lower here. Lower. Let's look at NASDAQ real quick. Very similar structure out of NASDAQ. Dow did break to the downside after this crack to the upside and has continued this kind of grind lower. Wow, man. I don't know. What do we think, guys? Like, bears back in town? We coming into correction, or are we gonna bounce here? We're gonna fake everybody out and just pull back up. Can't wait to read Twitter and Instagram later. Market selling off, recession incoming, sell everything, get ready, start saving all your money. As soon as the market starts to correct a little bit, you get so much of that like crazy calls for for sells. But appreciate you guys hopping on, man. Gonna hang out a little longer. We do have initial balance. Ooh, almost missed that one. 10:30. Feel free, hit like, hit subscribe. I'm on here. Whoa. I'm on here every morning, almost every morning. Initial balance is the 1 hour opening range. The 1 hour opening range from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Some really strong stats behind that one. Oops, sorry. Yeah, that would be the low. Just tapped the low. Really strong stats behind this one that go, if we break one side of the initial balance, we typically do not come back and break the other side. If we break one side, we typically extend. And we typically know which side breaks first. It's the side that's put in last. By a real strong stat on all of those. Like approaching 80% of the time. Just objectively, based on the statistics, we do not come back and break the opposite side of the initial balance if we break one side. We almost always break at least one side. Only like less than 2% of the time do we just stay completely within the initial balance. We don't tap outside of the initial balance at all. So this would call for more sells, right? Just cracked below that, really didn't extend, but that side's put in last as well. This is all lining up to just continue to sell off. Watching this market sell, man. Yeah, I'm gonna hang out. Give me a minute, guys. We'll go grab some water. I'll be right back, but I'm gonna hang for a little bit longer with you guys on this one. Back in action with you guys here. Let's see. Getting a little bit of a pop off this level. A little bit of a pop. Finally, some buyer stepping in here. Let's see if it's going to be the largest pullback. So we pulled back off of that low, 16.5 points. You know, if you want to be somewhat objective, I do look at measured moves, right? If we are trending down on the session, outside of levels being tested, you could say, hey, this is the largest pullback that we've had so far all day after just selling off. Really from the open. Yeah, we popped 14 points at the open. Off of this low after breaking overnight low. Popped up about, let's call it 16.5. We got the largest pullback off of this low so far. So interesting. Do we go up here and check out this 64? Do we come and test NYSE session anchored VWAP, right? This is to 9:30 a.m. Gives you a nice volume weighted average price anchored to a specific time. Interested to see. Still looking short. This could certainly be a buying opportunity, right? Maybe you were buying all the way down into this area, really aggressively counter trend. Low time frames for me, I don't like to do that. Yesterday was a good example of not doing that. All I had to do was hit the sell button, and instead I was hitting the buy button. It took 2 L's. What's going on, guys? 21,000 even on NQ is interesting. Yeah, let me go over here to do it. This way I don't even have it on this one. Ooh, yeah, huge round psychological level on NQ. Huge. That's a key level. That's a key level. Got close, but didn't test it. Yeah, again, I don't have a short play until we test at least something, some line on my chart, some level. But again, these pullbacks and then continuations for breakouts are certainly something that I'm going to have to pay attention to, specifically on a trending day like this, right? I think you'd easily get chopped up trying that, but I'm going to have to pay attention to pullback just arbitrarily without retesting anything above. And, you know, maybe a way to help me out doing that is either a low of day anchored VWAP, or, you know, looking for just a basic trend line, right? Bear flag, bull flag type setup. Just a break of structure to the downside. Not break of structure, but just price action indicating that we may continue in one direction and give you a way to structure risk. You know, just some tools maybe that give you some clarity, a way to apply some consistency outside of just being completely discretionary with it. Because again, it would have paid multiple times today, and by the time it doesn't pay once or twice, you know, you're already in profit. You're already done. So definitely something I'm going to have to look out for. You know, how often do these simple pullbacks and continuations happen? If we are really aggressively pushing to the downside or the upside without testing, you know, any one of my levels that I'm waiting to be tested. Something that I will note for today. Always looking to get better, right? Not change a strategy, not change an approach or do something crazy different, but small adaptations, right, within the market. How can we find, you know, things to improve on ever so slightly? But yeah, that's a major level coming up on NQ. put it in the chat. Had a bunch of you guys hop on. Smash the like button if you're still on here with me hanging out, man. Maybe you took a win. Hit the like button, man. Help me out. You don't have to do anything. Free means free, but that helps me. Yeah, love it. Got to adapt. Yeah. Again, there's a balance, right? There's a balance in trading, and we could talk about that. As beginners, a lot of times what guys get sucked into is just focusing on strategy. And it turns into this never-ending search for the Holy Grail and then over-optimizing, right? Every time you take a loss or every time you miss something, you're trying to figure out how you could have been involved or how you could have avoided a loss. And that can be really damaging and not helpful. But once you get past that and you decide to focus on your mindset and your risk management and you create a very simple system, like maybe you see me do here, and you have something that works for you, it is important to continue to review, continue to remember that you don't know everything, you don't have it all figured out, and the minute that you do, the market's going to remind you that you certainly do not, and you look for ways to adapt. You know, the market continues to change, right? There's a quote out of Market Wizards. I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something like, the market's the same because it was changing back then and it's changing now. Market continues to change day over day, week over week, month over month. You know, different things happen fundamentally and just are represented in price action and market structure. So you do have to adapt, but it's a balance. It's a balance to do it slowly and to look at large sample sizes and not try to over optimize or create a recency bias. Recency bias meaning, well, something happened yesterday, so I think the same thing's going to happen today, regardless of the hundreds of trading days that I have on my, on my belt. I'm just going to do what I saw yesterday. Or over optimizing, meaning every time you take a loss, you're trying to figure out how you don't have to take that loss. And that's not possible, right? We know the market's very random in the short term. We know we're going to do everything that we're supposed to do. Market's not going to agree with us. It's just going to do something crazy. Newsweek's going to come in. Trump's going to sneeze and the market's going to jump, 20 points in a split second. Like, those things are going to happen. Or you're just going to be dead wrong, multiple times. So there's a balance between trying to do that and staying completely stagnant and me right here, right now saying, well, I've watched this a lot, right? We're selling off kind of aggressively and I'm waiting for a level to be tested, but we're not really getting there. We're getting close, but we're not getting there. How reliable is this of a way to structure risk, especially if I wait for a breakout, right? Like how often would I see this happen and it not work out versus it work out 10 times today? Like here, even if you wanted to be stupid aggressive with it here, right? Tiny breaks and retests. Again, maybe utilizing a trend line, a low of day anchored VWAP, to get you into these trades. Rather than waiting for a level to be tested or, another anchored VWAP that may just not come. Like we're kind of getting ready to see right here, right now, right? So something to look at, to consider. I do use low of day anchored VWAPs. You can kind of see it, so especially on low time frame. So I'm not so keen of putting 1,000 things on my chart. I like to use one maybe when we start to drift away from it. We can kind of utilize that. But yeah, again, on another day, the only area that I see is after that first win, pull back up, and then come through it, come down, test overnight low, quick bounce, and then again, it was volatile here. It was some momentum. If you go back and watch the video, or you were live with me, you saw some wiggle here. That's an indication that, hey, we may move quickly, and we did. This was at 10 a.m. right at that consumer confidence, so that's dicey in itself. But that's a potential setup to the downside. But yeah, a balance between staying too stagnant and never changing, never adapting, never looking to improve yourself and focusing too much on strategy, and the opposite, which is just constantly focusing on strategy, not recognizing the market's going to be very, very random on the short term, and you're going to have to focus on risk management and mindset primarily. Strategy is a small piece of this, man. Very small piece. You can come in here and run your trading with a very, very simple system and have an edge, in my humble opinion. I get disagreed with on that a bit, but I think you can keep it extremely simple. The difficult part, the really tough part, is executing that and structuring risk, setting your limits, and keeping your downside controlled. That's what the difficult piece is. I think that's why so many traders can get handed a strategy with an edge, right? And they can't make it work. 9 out of 10. If you handed somebody a strategy with a badass edge, they're not going to be able to make it work, not for a long period of time, until they really get an understanding of the markets, how they move, and build discipline, and they're able to structure risk. Works out great for the first couple wins. They take 2 losses, and everything goes out the window. Big problems. So. Ryan, man. Yeah. Stay focused. Stay consistent with your system. Yes. Gonna have losses, even losing streaks. Yeah. Yep. Now, if it's your system, able to utilize alongside. Yeah, man. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Everything you said there. Yeah. Again, where most guys go wrong. Again, this is my humble opinion, right? So you can say, no, Zach, I think you're wrong, and I'll say that's cool, right? I'm just an idiot on YouTube. But my opinion, based on my own experience, is guys, and myself included, go on this journey, this never-ending journey of finding the holy grail and finding a strategy with such an insane risk to reward and win rate combination that is either not available at all or highly unlikely that you'll be able to maintain consistently. And they stay there, and they never develop the skill set of being able to take losses and control risk and get their mindset in check. So when they finally end up with a strategy, something clear that they can utilize and follow that works well, they can't trade it. They just keep moving on to the next thing. It's this vicious cycle of strategy hopping. And I think if more guys just started to do the hard work, journal, look at their poor executions, their tilt, their over leveraging, they're not wanting to accept the loss and moving stop loss, they're taking 4 more huge losses and blowing an account on a day when you just took a normal loss, you did everything you're supposed to do, the market didn't agree with you. It's that type of stuff. Reading the books, right? Reading the psychology books. You guys want a badass book list? I'm gonna throw it up right on the screen for you. Maybe I'll throw it up on the screen for you. Boom. Go ahead and read these books. You want to work on your mindset. You want to work on your psychology. You want to get an understanding of the game of probabilities that you're playing here and get your mind in check. These are the books. Trading in the Zone, Best Loser Wins, Mental Game of Trading, bangers. Absolute bangers, man. Market Wizards. I've read all of those multiple times. Going through Reminiscences of a Stock Operator again. It's such a solid book, man. Interviews and with our Market Wizards, interviews with top traders, and then a bunch of other psychology books on there. Really just understanding different challenges you're going to face outside of the strategy itself. And it's such a huge piece to trading. Such a huge piece. It's not all. Great mindset and psychology is not going to save you from not having a strategy, from having no understanding of the markets, not having screen time. But again, I'm of the belief that that's the easy part. That's the easy part. There's so much stuff out here now to learn, and this is the tough spot. This is the tough spot. So again, some of those towards the bottom are not specifically trading books, but they are great mindset books, in my opinion. I don't think you would read any one of these and become a worse trader. Let me put it that way. I'll set the bar super low. I don't think that if you spent the time to read any one of these, when you finished, you would be a worse trader. Just my opinion. If you had to read one, if you had to read three, which I think you definitely should, it'd be those first three. Best Loser Wins, Trading in the Zone, Mental Game of Trading. Everybody should read those. If you're here and you haven't read those, you have my permission to leave now and not come back until you've read those. I think all of those would provide more value spending your time reading those than I think I could. That's actually probably all those books, to be honest. And I'm not even like a book nerd. I don't read a lot. I only read trading books, only read stuff like that. And I don't even read them. I listen to them. I listen to them when I train, when I run, when I cycle, throw my headphones. So if that is worth noting, that I don't technically read anything. I just listen to them on audiobook. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It was super helpful for me. Super helpful for me. And again, it's all the common stuff, right? Like you see there's nothing special on that list. You probably heard of almost all those books. I don't have to try to reinvent the wheel. I don't have an ego about any of that stuff, man. You hear Best Loser Wins and Trading the Zone so much because they're really good. They're really, really good. You know, Mark Douglas, rest in peace, did a hell of a job, man. So, highly recommended. I think you will become a significantly better trader after running through some of those books. Significantly, if you haven't read any of that stuff. And again, you don't even have to read it. We live in a world where you just listen to it. You drive for work, you know, you're taking care of your family or some chores around the house, you're outside, maybe you don't train. You go to the gym, instead of just listening to nothing or just listening to whatever music, just throw that on. Power play, man. Huge power play. That's how I did it. Strategy hot for 3 to 4 years, no more. Yeah. Good. Watching this market come off these lows here, guys. Yeah, I'm getting ready to wrap it. Again, tight trend to the downside. I'm gonna have to do some review and try to find my way in here a little bit quicker. But got the win. A little over 200 across 3 accounts. Wrapped up another $200 day. I think I'm now going to be payout eligible in 2 more of these accounts, which is solid. Might snag a couple more payouts. Unfortunately, took off $400 off the top of these yesterday, so I'm not super excited about that. Don't know that I'll snag payouts, but I don't really wait too long. I'm the small payout king. Anyway, I'm watching this thing push to the upside. I don't see another trade set up right here, right now. We start to come back down lower after testing one of these VWAPs. I could certainly see a trade. I don't want to be the first seller off of this after we start to recover, but I could certainly see sell setups coming off of, you know, what I look at as key VWAPs, key levels. If not here, certainly up here where we have overnight low that acted as, you know, a little bit of support before a leg down, where we have session VWAP lining up. You know, above that would be something up here, but that if we made it all the way back up there, you know, that's looking less like a continuation and more like we're just going to come back up and chop around, kind of like what we had yesterday, you know, which was this kind of recovery back up into the mid-afternoon before we sold back off into the close. So I'm still looking short on this. I got to get a trade in on the Tradeify account. So if I don't make it a BS, like tiny, you know, just scalp for a couple points or a couple of ticks rather, I'm probably going to look short on something if we start to come up a little bit higher and then reject. That's what I'm going to be looking for into the afternoon. So on that note, guys, I will wrap it up. I appreciate you being here. Hop in the free Discord. Go check out Tradeify. Hit me up if you're interested in getting more help with your trading. I'll see you in Tampa for a 2-day event. I didn't really talk about that. I'll give you guys some teasers tomorrow. We jumped right into it with some trades today. But I'll be in Tampa May 1st and 2nd with Austin Silver, Joey Morgan, the Strong Trader, Isaac from Topstep, a ton more guys, a bunch of TradeZella, a bunch of awesome companies. More than happy to see you guys there. But I'm going to wrap it up right here. Remember, read the full disclaimer. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. You're probably going to lose all or more of the money if you decide to trade. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Not a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. I'm just an idiot yapping on YouTube. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 and the affiliate partnership disclaimer. I will see you guys tomorrow. Let's get it.